Welcome back to a very special edition of the NoStoppingKev show. Now, I know I've been away for a little while due to quarantine, but I'm back, and I promise you, this is one you got to watch start to finish. So, we all know about the connection between basketball and hip-hop. You know, the two go hand in hand. You got ball players that want to be rappers, and you got rappers that want to be ball players. And we all have seen examples of ball players trying to rap and rappers trying to hoop. So how could we not do an episode on this topic? But this is something that I had to bring in the big guns for. You know, I had to bring in the expert. So with me today, I have a very special guest, Dr. Tony Anderson. We're talking music producer, artist manager, musicologist. And if you listen to the show, you already know, name probably sounds familiar. It's a very dear to my heart mentor of mine, very special person. He's worked with many artists, and I'm not just talking about artists. I'm talking about Grammy award-winning music artists. So welcome to the show, Dr. Tony Anderson.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to get into this topic. I don't know if expert is the word I would use because everybody has an opinion about this subject. But I do know that I've done my research and I got my arguments, so I'm ready to go.
Oh, man, I'm excited for it. So, y'all, I know if you're watching, you already see what's going on, and you probably like, what in the world? So, first, I'm going to let y'all know I tried to do something new. You know, I went out, got a little backdrop, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's a little wrinkled. I tried to iron it, burnt the corner, but we're going to leave that alone. But then I pop up on here, and my man sitting up in the rafters next to the jerseys that's retired, doing it big.
Yeah, boy. Detroit Pistons fan all my life. So no better place to be than in the Little Caesar Stadium. Let's get it.
Favorite player?
Favorite player all time, Isaiah Thomas. No question. No question.
I'm gonna tell you, I recently found some new respect for Isaiah Thomas. You know, almost. You know, I ain't gonna say what I was gonna say, but almost. I just got, you know, I give him his props now. You know, I'm not gonna overlook him. But I think it's time for us to hop into this, man. First up on the list, I think, you know, there's no better place to start than at the top of the pyramid, right? So I'm talking, you know, probably the whole premise for the entire episode. So I'm thinking about starting with the GOAT, not LeBron, not Kobe. Let's be clear, Michael Jordan. So, Doc, if, you know, Mike were to be someone in the rap game, who would he be?
This one is fairly easy. I don't think anybody would have an argument with this. When you talk about the greatest of all time in any capacity, when you're talking about basketball, like when you start the conversation and you say greatest of all time, that person has to have the same equivalent in the hip hop game. They have to have the same amount of impact. So, you know, whether I'm a fan of this person or not, I think it's pretty much universally decided that the best rapper of all time is Jay-Z. And his impact in the rap game is equal to Michael Jordan's impact in basketball. So that one's kind of easy. That's a softball. But that's a good one to get us started. So people understand logic. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And then you look at how, you know, they kind of springboarded their careers into life beyond basketball and life beyond rap. You know, these guys are billionaires, you know, it's special. And so they definitely parallel each other in that way. Yep. I think I want to go to my number 2 guy in this argument
Okay.
of greatest of all time now. So, you know, rest in peace, but Kobe Bryant.
All right. Now, again, if you're going to talk about impact, this one to me is also very easy because Kobe tried to mirror Jordan. Kobe's legacy is undeniable. His impact is undeniable. In hip hop, there's also some other things about Kobe, and I'm trying to be tactful here, given the fact that he recently passed. But if we're really honest, Kobe was very confident in his
Mm-hmm.
game, sometimes to a fault. And I think this person in hip hop is the same way. So I'm going to go with Kanye. Kanye loves Kanye like nobody else loves Kanye. Kobe believed in Kobe like nobody else believed in Kobe. And so I think there's some similarities. Jay-Z brought Kanye into the game. Kobe mirrored Jordan. I mean, there's so many parallels there. It just makes sense. So I think Kanye and Kobe are kindred spirits in that regard. Yeah.
I gotta agree. You know, you hit the nail right on the head when, you know, you kind of talk about their mentalities. Like whenever I look at, you know, Kobe, it's like that guy's a different breed. Same thing with Kanye. That guy's a different breed. You know, you
That's
almost
right.
can't explain him, and you almost got to be a special person to be able to mesh well in their system. And your time in their system might have a clock on it. You know, it might expire, and
Yeah.
it's all right. On to the next one. I think you
But
served your purpose here.
hold on. Before you do that, but it's that belief. It's that fundamental belief in yourself. Like, if we're honest, most human beings have some insecurities. I'm not sure that Kobe and Kanye have insecurities about their skill sets.
Yeah, no.
I don't think that.
I think they definitely.
And even fewer people are able to back that up. And both of them, over the course of their careers, have been able to back up that confidence in themselves.
100%. 100% there. You know. All right, so next one. Wow. I don't think it gets any closer to those first two. But this next one, I feel like you might have to think about it a little bit more. So going off of Kobe, right? You got his partner in crime, arguably one of the best duos to ever step on the hardwood. So now when we introduce Shaq into the mix, who does Shaq parallel? Because I couldn't figure it out.
So for me, when I think about Shaq, I think about dominance, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think about somebody who was just a force of nature, absolutely dominant in the game, scary ability, especially for their size. And so for me, when I think of Shaq, I think of Notorious B.I.G., right? Biggie Smalls. Biggie came into the game and really was pretty much untouchable, right? He gets mentioned in the conversations of greatest of all time. And if you talk to the right person, they make an argument for that. And sometimes Shaq comes up in the most dominant of all time in basketball. So I see a parallel between those two careers.
I think your explanation of that is perfect, because I feel like for me, you think of Shaq and automatically you picture him, and my mind would go to big, but I was like, I don't know if I'm just doing that because they're both big, but no, I think they both were dominant. And like you said, they're always mentioned in that greatest of all time conversation. And people, you know, kind of got to spin it to where, like, I don't know if I'm going to give them the GOAT, but I will say that during their time, they were very, very dominant.
Yep.
I mean, physically imposing. But, all right, so next one. This is one where, for my generation, you might gotta school us a little bit. All right. So you might gotta tell us, you know, a little bit of the history behind it and a lot of the why, because, you know, we kind of babies at this. I'm sure watching, you know, The Last Dance last week and this week, that
Oh,
people are learning a thing or two. Um, so I want to go with another dynamic duo here. All right, Scotty.
okay. Scottie Pippen. All right, now this is where it gets interesting. For me, Scotty is one of my favorite comparisons on this list. And if you're listening to this, this is the point at which you might yell at the radio or get mad at what I'm about to say, but just hear me out. All right. So we all know the iconic relationship between Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, at least on the basketball court, in terms of him being, the Robin to Jordan's Batman. All right. To me, in hip hop, there's a particular MC that never really delivered in terms of their solo work. But if you had this person on a feature, guaranteed hit. And that rapper is Fabulous. Fabulous is the ultimate wingman in hip hop, in my opinion. He will murder a track as a number two guy. But as number one, you just don't know. You know what I mean? Pippen was with the Blazers. What happened? Does anybody remember that? I don't know. No disrespect.
Yeah, no disrespect. He was also on another team that no one talks about. But I might save that in the interest of staying on topic. I might save that for another episode. Because I went back and I was looking at numbers and I was just like, if he was that guy, there were certain points in the career where numbers probably should have changed a little bit. But they didn't.
Yeah.
All right, I got another history one for you. My man, Mr. Skyhook himself, Kareem.
Got you. Now, understand something. Kareem really should be in more of the conversations as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. We know this. The man lost like one game, one or two games from high school through college. Like, he was unstoppable. He's the number one scorer of all time in the NBA. So, when you talk about a rap equivalent, if it ain't Jay-Z, it's got to be somebody who's mentioned as the top MC, top rapper ever. And for me, the only comparison other than Jay-Z that I can make that's universally agreed upon and respected is Rakim. So when I think of Kareem, I think of Rakim.
Oh man, it's for that younger generation or that generation that's not up on hip hop to that level to where, they hear the name Rakim and certain songs, certain beats, certain flows come into their head. What's a song that they should go check out right now in this instant?
Ooh.
Or wait, after the show, that is.
Man, there's too many to pick. There's too many to pick. Just do your Googles.
Just go.
Do your Googles.
Just go find that essential playlist.
Yeah, just go to iTunes, Tidal, whatever you listen to, your streaming network of choice, type in Rakim and listen, but understand the significance of his flow and the development of his flow for rap culture. If you want to do a comparison, again, no disrespect, go listen to Sugar Hill Gang, go listen to Grandmaster Flash, and then listen to Rakim and understand the transition between that era of flow to what he brought. Similarly, Kareem with the sky hook. He comes in with an unstoppable move that takes him to number one on the all-time points list. That's the only way I can think of the two.
Yo, I love the way you put that, and it just made me think about when I went and was like, let me check out some Rakim songs. There were so many songs that I have been listening to for so many years. They're all over the place whenever you turn on the television. And I was like, I had no idea who this guy was. But they're all they're like all hits. So to your point earlier, like I can't pick a song because so many of them are great.
Yep.
So I think I wanna shift over now back to the East Coast. All right.
Cool.
We're gonna stick with a historic franchise though. Although, I would say after watching The Last Dance episodes 1 and 2, that I didn't realize how respected this franchise was because of recent years. But I want to bring it over to my hometown, Philly. All right, we gonna start old school and we gonna bring it up to new school. All right. So first up,
Cool.
Dr. J.
Julius Irving. All right. So Dr. J, in a lot of ways, was like the precursor to Michael Jordan. Okay. He was way more athletic than other folks in the league at that same time. And so not just that, but his sense of the aura that he brought to the game, the smooth, he just had a charisma about his style that left an imprint on the game. I think an MC that oftentimes in hip hop circles doesn't get the credit that he deserves for the same kind of impact is LL Cool J. LL Cool J and Dr. J, I think they have the same kind of impact on each other's careers. So,
You want to know what's something funny? When you said LL, for some reason, my mind immediately jumped to like them being on stage at a concert. And, LL's out there doing his thing. And then like the song slow down a little bit. And here comes Dr. J, just like all 7 feet tall coming out with the mic. You just see it. They both got that smoothness.
Yeah, LL, man, when he came into the game, he was like a savant, lyrically. Like he could do a lot. We think of LL because he changed his style over the course of his career. He went from like I'm bad to I need love to around the way girl. So he was like pre-Drake in terms of talking to girls. He was like the first version of Drake in some regards, but he was versatile in his abilities, and lyrically he was cold, man. And so I think he also had that charisma as an MC that transcended just the records themselves. Just like Dr. J had a charisma that transcended his abilities on the court as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think that one thing at least I see from the basketball perspective, whenever I'm around conversations about Dr. J, people always talk about how great he was, but at the same time, I feel like he's still underrated, for his contributions to basketball. And, it's almost like you have guys that mention like, yo, Doc was this, Doc was that. And I guess from a guy, like talking from the perspective of a guy that never really got to watch Dr. J to the level where, I kind of can speak to it. I'm always all ears when I'm listening to hardwood classic debates, I'll call them. How come you don't hear more guys say, like, I wish I was Dr. J? Like, everybody wants to be like Mike, but is it just because the era that he was playing in? Like, what is it?
Well, I mean, I think you gotta consider how media has evolved over the course of basketball's evolution as well. And so, things like ESPN, shoe company branding, social media, all those things are growing progressively at the same time. So, if you were born now, like my daughter is 6 and she knows Michael Jordan, but has never seen him play. You know what I mean? Because Michael Jordan shoes are everywhere. I got a nephew that's, 9. He went to school and the kids were like, where are your Jordans? You know what I'm saying? That's a reality that's bigger than life. And so unfortunately, some of our greats that I'm sure you'll get to at some point didn't have the benefit of playing in eras where they could, benefit from all the mass media and how it's grown over time. I think people, don't really recognize how significant they were to the evolution of the game. And Dr. J, like, he was like the alpha test for Michael Jordan.
You mentioned getting to some of the greats, right?
Yep.
So we gonna shift this over. I told you, I already gave this away. We staying in my city. I'm going with my pick for pound, greatest of all time. The answer, Allen Iverson. Who
That's a good
used to
one.
spit.
Yeah, yeah. So by the way, so did Shaq. Shaq
I
got good
know.
albums. Shaq has great albums. So you know what I mean. That's not to take if Shaq you're listening. That's not to take away from your skills as an MC. But Allen Iverson. This is one of the more interesting debates. I see a parallel between Allen Iverson and Nas.
Mm.
Here's my logic on that. Allen Iverson, amazing talent, incredible talent. Did so much with so little. Nas, people get really, really frustrated at Nas's production on his albums, right? Classic records, great singles, lyrically, one of the best all time. But and you also have to remember this. Allen Iverson took a shot at Jordan, crossed him up. Nas, Ether. So the parallels of the careers to me, I just see it. Synergy.
Yeah, I can't argue with you there. I cannot argue with you there. And when you, oh my God, just that's body for body right there. You know, you
Yep.
thinking about Jordan and Ether, like,
Yep.
oh my God.
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
Crazy.
Wow. All right.
You know, Allen Iverson didn't have a lot of support.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
When you
his team, he had some scraps. Nas, you know, whoever's executive producing his records sometimes doesn't pick the best production that they could. And I'm not talking about the first album. The first album, we good, we gold. But after that, it's like sometimes you're like, oh man, could have picked some stronger beats.
just step the beat game up.
Holla at me. Holla at me.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, you know, he's looking to be open for feedback,
right?
Because I mean, that's an important skill in life. I know I talk about, you know, life skills on the show all the time. One is accepting feedback so that you can.
No. Nas is one of my favorite MCs. Please, if you're listening, please trust me. I would love the honor of picking some beats on a Nas project.
Oh man, yeah, that would be. I'm confident that those, just because I know some of the work you've done, and then I know some of the work that has come after it from people with platforms. I'm just like, yo, my man has the formula in a lot of things, in academics and in music. Like he got it everywhere. All right, so I want to shift over to one of my favorite players who, you know, I like to think he changed the game, at least for this era of basketball. I'm talking, you know, the 2010s. And it's definitely reshaped the game for the 2020s on the basketball court. This is a guy who, in high school, a lot of people thought we were twins. I wasn't seeing it, but people thought they were thinking like that.
I know where we're going with this one.
All right, we gotta shift it over back out west to the Golden State. I'm talking Steph Curry. Who would Steph be in the rap game?
All right. So again, when you're talking basketball and you're saying greatest anything, right? Whoever you say in the hip hop world also has to have that qualifier. So when you talk about Steph Curry, people say he's one of the best, purest jump shooters of all time. When you're talking hip hop, and you're talking about MCs, you really are only working with lyrics, flow, delivery. You know what I mean? So from that standpoint, the equivalent person in hip hop culture has to have the same level of ability. So for me, if I'm looking at Steph Curry and I'm talking about, and by the way, I still, for as good as Steph Curry is, and for the qualifier, greatest jump shooter, whatever you want to give him, I still feel like people don't give him the utmost respect. I still feel like people are kind of scared of him Don't know where to place him in the history of basketball just yet. I still think they do him a lot of disservice. Same thing with this person in hip hop. But I'm going to say my Steph Curry of hip hop is Tariq Trotter, also known as Black Thought.
Whoa!
The reason being is lyrically, I don't know anybody that wants to be on a track with this guy. He's incredible. I mean, if you listen to what he's done over the course of his career, very few people are touching him. And still, for some reason, people hesitate to put him in the best of all time. Like, they might say top 5. I think he should be top 2, top 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, people get antsy about that in the same way they get kind of antsy about giving Steph his props. But that's who I think is a good comparison.
I agree with you there, but I was thinking someone different initially. But the thing about, see, this is tough.
Come with it. Bring your argument so I can chop it down.
No, I think you will chop this one down. But so when I was thinking of Steph, right? And now I'm not gonna make myself seem like I'm a big hip hop head to the extent where I know the deep cuts and all that. I'm not that guy, right? So when I was thinking of Steph, I was thinking of another Carolina guy, J. Cole. Now hear me out. Now I know you talk about Steph kind of changing the game. I want to say for my generation, focusing on, oh shoot, I'm old now, but I'm 25 now. Going back to when I was in high school, I want to say you had a lot of the mumble rapping trend kind of start. And I want to say I feel like Cole kind of changed the game because he had albums going platinum where with no features. He also was rapping about content that I felt was more relatable to your average guy, whereas everyone else was rapping about women and drugs in the streets. Cole kind of he was different, right? He was kind of like more of your cleaner cut rapper, as Steph was like your cleaner cut basketball player playing the game completely differently. He was from the outside. Now a lot of people don't, it's like what post game. So I feel like they both kind of parallel each other in the sense that they did things differently in their era than the masses.
Sure. I'm actually not going to fight that. I think that's a fair comparison.
Oh wow, man, that means a lot. I got a little stamp of approval there, man. I'm happy. That's a win. I don't need another win.
Yeah, I can rock with that.
Yo, and I have such great respect for Black Thought because I listened to his Hot 97 freestyle. I've never heard a freestyle that great. Like, I was blown away. And I didn't realize I was listening to a 10-minute freestyle. I was like, wait. And it didn't seem rehearsed at all. I'm like, this guy's real good.
And then on Fallon asked him to do the same thing and started throwing words at him. And he did the same thing on Fallon, like shortly after doing the Hot 97 Funk Flex show. So, I mean, this dude has been doing it his whole career. He's underappreciated.
Yeah, I wonder what a solo career would have been like for him.
Well, he does have solo albums. Check those out. Look them up. He has a series of solo albums that he put out recently, so check those out.
Will do. And I guess we still have to wait for. We'll probably never see it. I don't know if we'll ever see Steph have that real like solo moment. And I think that's why, like me personally, it's hard for me to pit Steph up there in that greatest of all time debate, just because he hasn't come through in the finals the way you want him to, like the greats has, at least in my opinion. I'll definitely say he's the greatest shooter of all time. I'll give him that. Without question, I'm willing to go back and forth with anybody on that. But it's just hard for me because I got to see him pit all 11 other guys in a backpack and then put that thing on his back and carry them to winning the trophy. That's my only
Yeah,
that's my only knock there.
yeah, and again, I think Steph, what he's accomplished is incredible. I think Reggie Miller, Larry Bird, Ray
Hmm.
Allen might have something to say about that. I certainly know with Reggie Miller, you know what I mean, his shooting in clutch time was
Unreal.
unreal. He may not
Larry
have the
too, man.
numbers that Steph. Yeah, both of them. But I mean, like, if you look at that, you talked about hardwood classics earlier. You look at that series against the Knicks. Oh my goodness! I mean, you talk about Ray Allen, in Miami. When those guys are under pressure, somehow get the ball, whether it be off a pass or a rebound, and then run back to the 3-point line, turn around and shoot it, and it's nothing but net. Like in crunch time.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that Steph has that ability, but I'm talking about in crunch time when the game is on the line. If you're that guy, we want to see you do it at that time. And so, I mean, that's the only thing I think they could say about Steph at this point.
Yeah.
We haven't seen.
Yeah, I hope he changes it too for us, because as I said, that's one of my favorite players. Special guy, but I wanna throw it back again. All right, I'm saying
Okay.
I want to go back to, this is a guy who a lot of people, I'll say there's probably no one that would ever disrespect this man right here. He's probably the most respected man in basketball to ever touch the hardwood. Boston Celtic great Bill Russell. Who would
Yeah.
Bill be?
Yeah. Well, this one's kind of similar to the one earlier with Shaq. There's really only one person to me that kind of gets that kind of universal respect in hip hop. Actually, there's some people that are coming close, but they didn't produce the content that this person produced, and that's Tupac. When I think Bill Russell and his legacy on the game, I think Tupac's legacy in hip hop kind of parallels in that regard in terms of respect. Yeah.
Oh,
So that's all. That's all I can really say about that. Yeah.
well, I had a different Tupac. I guess I'll get to that later.
Okay.
But one thing I want to say about these two guys being parallels for each other is just, again, I guess you'll probably notice a trend with me and my musical taste, to an extent, but Bill Russell, coming up in the era that he came up with, he did a lot of fighting against injustice and, standing up for it and bringing awareness the same way I feel like Tupac did. I won't say they're, equivalent, but I'll say they're both like equally outspoken. And when you watch All Eyes on Me, I know people have a lot of different opinions about it, but it opened my eyes into just how woke Tupac was. So that's why I like this comparison. Although I had a different Tupac, I think Tupac is a better fit for Bill Russell than he is for my guy.
Gotcha. Who did you have?
LeBron.
No.
Because all right, here's why. I actually had two for LeBron. One of them was Tupac. All right, but so here, all right, I'm gonna just go through what I was thinking.
Womp womp womp.
Like, you started off strong, Kev. Now you gotta take this L. You gotta take this L. All right, look, this the reason. So they both, I feel like, dominated the game. I feel like from start to finish, like they've always been that guy. They're always talked about as the greats. Now, here's where, when I think about it, it kind of shifts a little bit and maybe gets a little weak, is again, going back to guys, speaking up, speaking out, being socially aware, LeBron has become that guy in recent years. So much so that
I'll
he
agree with
started his
that.
school and things like that.
Mhm.
And he's always been big on issues. He's not afraid to handle certain questions in the media to call attention. And I feel like if Tupac was still here, we would have a bunch of Machiavelli academies throughout the country. I feel like that those guys care about their people, and want the world to know the struggles that we go through, and not just black men but also women. So that's why I came up with that one. I got
Again,
a
Kev,
little bit
I
less.
gotta give it to you. That was a good argument. That was a good argument, and I can see the comparison from a social standpoint. Um, when I think of LeBron, my mind automatically goes to the greatest of all time debate. And for whatever I feel, because I like LeBron, I do a lot. I don't think it's a fair comparison to put him up against Jordan, and I know that's what he aspires to be, is the greatest of all times. But I always, whenever these debates happen, people always come up with a reason why LeBron should not be the greatest of all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, we're coming toward the end of his career, but it's still not finished yet, right? Similarly, in hip hop, this person burst onto the scene and has been scary good. And probably accelerated into the conversation of top five way too fast. And I'm a huge fan. In fact, I was a fan of this person's mixtapes before his albums. This person has won Nobel Prizes for their lyrics.
Oh man.
Okay? Is it Nobel? No, not Nobel. Is it Nobel
Pulitzer?
Prize or Pulitzer? I think it's the Pulitzer. I stand corrected. Bottom line is, they're doing stuff and getting recognized in ways that haven't happened for other MCs. But like LeBron, people are hesitant to put him in. They're like, yeah, he's good, but I don't know if he's that good. And that's Kendrick Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Kendrick and LeBron have some parallels, also along the lines of the social consciousness and Kendrick's writing and the topics and the issues that are addressed in his music, similarly to LeBron and the work that he's doing in communities. So I think there's some parallels there. But I do like what you said about Tupac. I can't really. I feel bad for blowing the foghorn because it's not really that off. It's not,
man,
it's really off. But that's
you only have part of the puzzle. You only have part of it.
Yeah,
But
coherent argument. That's why we had a dialogue.
Yeah, you want to know something scary about what you said about Kendrick though? So I love Kendrick, but sometimes like it's taking some time for his style to kind of grow on me, especially when I was younger. But I always loved the content. Like I love the lyrics. I love the story behind his words. I used to didn't always like LeBron, right? I was one of those LeBron haters where just out of ignorance, I guess, you're just like, oh, I'm pro Kobe, so I got to be anti-LeBron. So it's taking me some time to be like, yo, LeBron needs more respect. Like, why y'all, like, now it's so much so that I'm the advocate. I'm like, listen, guys, you can love them both. Like, you don't have to
right.
And
it
so,
does not be anymore.
right. And I feel like as I get older, the more Kendrick grows on me. So on a personal note, that's how I see those two, paralleling each other.
Yep. Cool.
My next, I want to kind of stay in the historic era, right? This guy is, people actually got in a debate with my dad on, who is better, LeBron or this next guy, Magic Johnson.
Oh yeah.
It's
okay.
So Magic is interesting guy. So I want to know, who do you think Magic would be if he had to be an MC?
Gotcha. So this for me is maybe my favorite comparison on the list, on the entire list. This is probably my favorite because it's so similar that it's like, how could you not see this? Magic Johnson, first of all, universally respected, universally loved. At the time that Magic Johnson was playing, in the height of his career, we thought he was the best player. We definitely said best point guard of all time, and some people still say best point guard of all time. I'm always going to say Isaiah Thomas. Anyway, but there are a lot of people that say, top 5, Mount Rushmore, Magic Johnson, this, and the other. Anybody that knows hip hop knows that this person, at the height of their rapping career, untouchable. You look at Magic Johnson's work in terms of philanthropic efforts, business community, entrepreneurship, and then you look at this person's efforts in hip hop, and then in TV, and now in basketball. Incredible. Ice Cube. Ice Cube is my pick for the hip hop equivalent of Magic Johnson in basketball. Can't get any more synergy than that.
Oh man. All right, I had a different Ice Cube. All right, but you raised so many great points of they're one and the same. You just swap them. Be like, you can be me for the day. Oh man. Yep. All right. My Ice Cube is someone that's my favorite player right now. Russell Westbrook.
Nope.
Here's why. Okay. All right, and I hope we're able to make sense of this because Allen Iverson has said that the player that reminds him most of himself today is Westbrook. So my favorite players are like my spirit animals. So I hope I can get this one right. All right. So the reason I picked Russ is because the way Russ is able to fill the stat sheet, right? He can give you points, he can give you rebounds, he can give you assists. And I'm talking a lot of them. Triple-double machine, right? I feel like that versatility was displayed by Ice Cube. Not only could he rap, but he could write, produce. He can also lead a team. He can kind of be the background guy, like not be the face, much like how Russ has done in OKC when he was behind Durant. Stop making that face. He gave KD his chance, man. He gave KD his chance.
Oh,
behind Harden. He played behind Harden. He's been Harden's number 2 guy. Like, there's no stepping on toes, right? It's just a fact that my man can go out and get his, right? And then he also can just be the guy, like he did post KD era of OKC. Ice Cube, as I was saying, not only can he do it in a lot of different ways in music, my man can also act, create movies. But as far as that business sense, Russ got some work to do.
Yeah, I don't see Russell Westbrook being as complex as Ice Cube. But in terms of basketball skills, I'm not taking nothing from Russell Westbrook. Super dynamic. But you remember in kindergarten when you got your report card and there was that box that says works well with others? I am confident that Russell Westbrook will get an unsatisfactory. Now, in hip-hop, the equivalent person for that is easily 50 Cent. 50 Cent is drama everywhere. He thrives on it. And talent is there. Hits, there. Records, for a moment, 50 was on top of the game. Like he was incredible. Same way with I keep saying Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook's game, and athleticism, crazy. His ability to do things on the court, but he don't get along with his teammates too well. And so I don't know. I just think a better comparison because Ice Cube was too dynamic in too many areas for me for that comparison. That's why I got to go easily Magic Johnson with Ice Cube.
Fair points. But I got one more for Russ. All right,
Okay.
picture Russ after he dunks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now go on Google and type in Ice Cube rapper. The face gonna be the same, man. The face is gonna be the same. Like, come on.
Yeah, you might need to go look at some 50 Cent Wankster videos. Back when 50 Cent first came, How to Rob. Listen, go back. That whole era, it's pretty crazy.
I didn't see that one coming. I didn't see that one coming.
Yep.
All right, so I guess a similar guy in the sense that he's very criticized, much like Russ is criticized. This next player also faces a ton of criticism, no matter where he is, and he's played all over. It feels like to the point where people thought he never was going to play again, but he had a comeback year. Thankfully, so because this game is a work of art, if you ask me. Carmelo, where would Carmelo fall in the rap game?
I don't know. That is a really hard one for me. I got nothing.
Like,
what do you think? I really don't know on that one.
It's tough because, like, all right, let's see if we can maybe come up with one together, or let's see if we can get to a maybe together.
Okay, all right.
So when you think of Carmelo's game, right, you got a guy that can flat out do it on his own, right?
Mm-hmm.
In team environments, there's a question mark. Like, we know, Chauncey jokingly said this, but I believe it was probably true. Young Melo is like, I don't care if we win or lose as long as I get my 40 and we good. You also kind of look at Carmelo and it's just like the way he was just a pure scorer too, who also had a lot of heart, a lot of grittiness, and wouldn't back down from anyone. Match that to someone in the rap game who can flat out get it done, isn't afraid. I just don't know if this guy's impact is as good as Carmelo's. I just feel like the inner beast can be matched. So the guy that came to mind, this with no preparation, so don't beat me up for this. But I thought of the game.
I like it.
Just off of just that toughness, like just that inner spirit,
I like it. I wouldn't have thought of that, but I do like that comparison.
Well, thank you.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Well,
all right, I wanna throw it back. This is a guy who I love. I'm happy to share my favorite clip after I hear who you come up with for this guy. I'll tell you my favorite basketball moment because this is another one of my, I call them hardwood classic guys. But Dennis Rodman, very interesting human being.
That's right.
That I love.
Sensitive. Me too. Yep. Me too.
So pure entertainment.
Yeah. So Rodman's like the game within the game. If you lived in the era when Rodman played, there was a point at which you're watching his antics as much as you're watching the scoreboard. You know what I mean? You're watching to see what he's going to do. He was like wrestling within the context of an NBA game. He's like WWE. Matter of fact, he spent some time in the WWE as well. But anyway, Rodman as a basketball player was the ultimate teammate. You know what I mean? Like, who else do you know that can go get 20 rebounds a night
Hmm.
and just that's
And be happy.
what I'm there for. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm gonna get 20 rebounds and that's it, you know. But the antics of annoying the other players or the other team, that became, you know, more of what he was known for than his skill in and of itself. And so, you know, you think of the sideshow. When you think of Rodman, you think of the colored hair, you think of the Madonna incidents, you think of the, you know, marrying himself and wearing a dress. All this stuff is, you know, I watched the interview the other day. They were talking about it. This is pre-social media. Like, people do this stuff now because they're trying to get followers on social media. they do crazy things to get people to follow them, to get attention. Rodman was doing that before the Instagram existed, before Facebook existed. That was just who he was. And in hip hop, I can only think of two people that had that same kind of bigger than life personality, played a role within teams or groups that they were in. And because of the way that they did that, they were adored and loved by everybody. And both of them, in my opinion, are mad talented at what they did. Their talent is kind of understated because of the other antics. Both people. So Flavor Flav and Old Dirty Bastard, ODB, Big Baby Jesus. I feel like A-Sun Unique. I feel like those two are comparable to Dennis Rodman in terms of their impact in hip-hop culture. Flavor Flav, best hype man ever. Wrote the book on being a hype man. You know what I mean? But people don't know. If you watch Flavor of Love, you might have saw him sit down at the piano and start playing. Who knew?
Yeah.
Find out the dude could play like 11 instruments. Who knew? You never would have thought. You know what I mean? ODB, crazy talented, energy, MC, you know what I mean? Charisma, personality, will do anything to hold your attention. Same thing as Rodman. And so I think those two are the best comparison. I know that's a 2-for-1. Originally, I was just like Flavor Flav is the only person that Rodman is comparable to. But then I started thinking like ODB might fit as well. So,
man, I like those, and I think that Dennis's antics were just so unmatched that you had to go 2-for-1 there.
Yeah.
And you know, I mentioned earlier, you know, my favorite Dennis Rodman clip is when him and Karl Malone are trying to go up the floor, and Rodman just keeps throwing his body into him, like tackling Malone up the floor, and eventually the ref is like, enough is enough. But I remember being maybe like 7 watching that clip with my dad, and I'm just like, Dad, what is he doing? And he's just like, that's Dennis Rodman. And I was like, I like that guy. And as I got older, I was like, and I just always say, like, you got to have a guy like that on your team.
Yeah, if you want to win, you gotta have a grit guy.
Yeah.
A guy that's willing to do whatever it takes, you know, to get the dub.
Do any and
not
everything.
Worried about points. Yeah, that's not worried about points. That's just like, you need a rebound, I'll get a rebound. You need me to annoy the other team's best player, I'll do whatever it takes to get that dub. That was Rob.
All right, building off of, you know, a guy that's willing to do anything to win, I want to know, who do you think Giannis would be? I feel like that's a tough one.
No, I don't know. I mean, it took me a minute to think about this. When I think about Giannis, I think about him in terms of dominance. But right now, at this point in Giannis's career, he's not, everybody projects what the future is going to be like. Oh, he's going to be one of the best ever if he develops a jump shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if he does this, or if he does that, if he wins championships, if he does this, that, and the other. Like, I don't see nobody stopping that dude right now. But his game is primarily made up of insanely athletic and incredible dunks,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which are great to watch. But I don't know if that's enough to win you a championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that's enough for you to get into the greatest of all time conversation. But he's good for some entertainment, boy. He's good for some excitement. So in hip hop, I think, who's going to give me a hit right now just by breathing on a track, just by being there, right? Who is instant entertainment just by their presence being there? And that person is Drake.
Oh,
I see Giannis and Drake as
oh,
being symbiotic, synergetic comparisons of each other's career right now.
I did not see that coming. Oh man.
Shout out to Drake.
All right. So much like I love AI and Westbrook, that's how I feel about Drake. So they're my rap. Drake is my rap equivalent of those guys.
Gotcha.
I can't argue with that argument though.
Find one. I mean, I'm open. I'm open. I ain't, I'm not the end all be all.
I couldn't come up with who Giannis would be. I just had a different guy for Drake though.
Who?
Ah, all right.
If
You
it's who
remember?
I think it is, if it's who I think it is, it's largely the same issue. But that person has a little more. If it's the same person, they got a little more dynamic to their game. Who you thinking?
So you remember I
A little more versatility. That's the word. Versatility in it.
So you remember there was one guy earlier we talked about that I had two guys for. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was deciding between two people. So LeBron was my Drake. I know I had two because they
Gotcha.
both hit the scene and set it ablaze and have been at the top arguably ever since. Right.
Gotcha.
And no one gives either one that clear cut, they're the great. But LeBron gonna get you to a finals.
Yeah.
Drake gonna give you a hot track, whether he try or not somehow. You know, he much like how Drake can get other people a hit just by being on the track with them. LeBron do the same thing. Yo, be on my team if you try and win a rank. Like it's just in my eyes, they're the same.
Gotcha.
I got another one for you that I think is gonna be tough.
All right. Is this the last one?
I couldn't place this. I couldn't place this guy. All right. Are you if you want to do one more?
We can do two. We can do two,
All
but
right. You want to give me two?
I'll give you two.
All right. I might need a third one. All right, this guy, right? I love him so much. Plays the point guard position. He's another straight killer.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he doesn't get the credit he deserves. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This guy also has bars though. So we had to put him in the conversation. Dame Dollar.
Yeah, Damian Lillard. Anybody who really watches basketball knows this dude is a problem. Okay, you don't want to be on the court in an ISO situation up against Damian Lillard. You just don't. And so, his abilities as an MC notwithstanding, as a basketball player, dude is scary. Much respect. I think in hip hop, we recently saw how scary this person could be as an MC. And so I think the comparison here is pretty good. I like it. And that's Pusha T.
Oh,
I see Pusha T as the Dame Lillard in basketball. I mean, in hip hop,
I like it. I like it because they both will. If you step to them, careful what you ask for. Like you asked for it. Like you wanted this.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was. I thought
The
of
long
someone.
walk.
What'd you say?
It's gonna be a long walk home.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And for Dame, I thought of someone else just because of like I was trying to think of how I picture these two people. But the impact thing I think is what kind of killed it for me because I don't think they're equal in that capacity. But I was thinking of Black Thought, and the reason is just like I feel like they're both like everyone knows like yo that dude over there stay away. That's trouble. You don't want him. You don't like stay in your lane, right? So everybody knows what they can do, but it's like at the same time, I feel like people don't fully understand it. You know, like I feel like you gotta be an insider to really appreciate it almost. Like you gotta know what you're talking about, you gotta know what you're looking for to really appreciate it. Um but I struggle with Dame. But I like the Pusha T because, you know, bringing it back to me personally, Pusha T kind of came from one of my guys, just like Dame
Right.
always goes at one of my other guys.
Right.
So
That's right.
I gotta say, I think you got something there.
I
So
think
I
that's a good one.
so I know you gave me two, right? But I feel like I want to do this last one a little bit differently,
Okay.
just because you know you I gotta do it for you. You the man. I don't want to miss out on a great comparison. I don't want to miss out on one. So
Okay.
I want you to give me one from your list that people need to know this. They got to know it. And here's why.
All right. Vince Carter.
Mm,
So you want me to tell you who I think Vince Carter is the
yes.
equivalent, or you want to guess your hip hop equivalent of Vince Carter?
I came up with one, but I can't even share it. I will
No, go
not share it. No, no, no. I can't. I can't. I
share it.
can't. It's just
Share it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Because I'm sure I'm curious. Go ahead. Share it.
I was thinking, let me put out some disclaimers. This is coming from a guy who only got to really see the highlights of Vince Carter, but
Okay.
would feel electrified and watching it just like whoo. So on the rap side, this is a guy who listening to him, it got me charged up. You know, just like you probably watch some Vince Carter highlights, you feel like you can go out and do the same dunk. Meanwhile, when your hand get up to the rim, you really barely touching the net, like one of those. So when I used to listen to this guy's music, I would almost listen to him before games because it would get me charged up. That guy was Eminem for those reasons. The feeling that they gave me.
Ooh, you done brought Eminem into the conversation. Okay. I'm not going to argue against Eminem. But what I will say for me, when I think of Vince Carter, I think of dunks, obviously. I think of highlights, right? I feel like Vince Carter was like definitely one of the best dunkers to ever do it. Just amazing athleticism, but it's just highlight. But the other component, people don't know this, but Vince Carter has played the most seasons
Mm,
in NBA history.
mm.
I believe it's 22 seasons. Okay? The only person in hip hop whose career has lasted that long, but has been able to create a hit, hip hop's equivalent of a highlight, anytime they want, is Fat Joe.
Oh man. All right, all right, all
So,
right.
so if you look, Fat Joe has been out, and people don't talk about it, but he's been around. I think he's the singular most underrated rapper of all time. It's fact.
I
He's been
can.
for a long time, and when you start looking at his list of hits, he'll come out with a hit tomorrow that'll be number one on the radio. And you know what I mean? This dude, it was 1994. We're talking about the 1900s, and I was playing Fat Joe in my car going to football practice. You know what I mean? Jealous ones in. Woo! Man. And then to go from there to where he is now, man, that's one incredible career. And, you know, when you look at Vince Carter, he's got the longest career, played the most seasons in the NBA.
I like that. Because I would have never come up with that. And I mean, I don't give Fat Joe the credit he deserves.
Most people
Right, he got a lot of hits.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, Fat Joe does not put out bad albums. But when he says, I'm going to have a hit single, he gets a hit single. There are records that he's thrown away, that he's given to other artists that became number one hits. Like Fat Joe, that's, you know what, going back to our earlier conversation, that's who should executive produce Nas's album. If Fat Joe EP'd Nas's record, oh my goodness. Make sure when you post this, you hashtag all of these people. Hashtag them all. Hashtag the basketball players, hashtag at the rappers, ESPN, you know, Fox News or Fox Sports 1, all these. Make sure they in on this conversation because I know people got opinions.
No doubt. And people need some content out there with this COVID crisis.
That's right. That's right. It's a great discussion. The way that this came about, this whole conversation came about, I was sitting with some friends and we was just having a conversation and I was like, yo, who is the basketball or who is the hip hop equivalent of this person in the basketball world? And the conversation went on for hours. And the more I thought about it, the more I kept thinking like these comparisons are crazy. And then shortly thereafter, you know, I shared it with you and then there's people starting to pop up on the net doing their mini list of the same concept. I'm like, yo, what is happening? I hope people keep tuning in to the No Stopping Kev show. I've had a blast. This has been wonderful. It's always great catching up with you, and I appreciate being on the show, man.
Oh man, thanks for coming through. You know, I've been saying for some time now. It's like, yo, man, one of my big things is to get guests on the show. But you know me, I'm like, I go about things a certain way. And I was like, it got to be right. Like if I do it, it has to be right. And I think there's no better way to, you know, show my appreciation to a guy that's done so much for me than to have you on the show. And I mean, you said the No Stopping Kev show on fire. Like the flames on the logo, they were made by Tony Anderson today. So man, thank you for being here. You know, I love you dearly. And we have to keep this thing going. You know, we're gonna have to do some other projects together coming in the future.
Well, I like I said, I appreciate it. Love you too, man. Proud of everything that you're doing. Keep going strong. You're a role model to a lot of people in the community, man. So keep doing your thing. I can't stress it enough. I'm just happy to have been a part of it. I got one last plug. There's a group of kids, they'd be mad at me for saying that. There's a group of young people that I work with in Columbus, Ohio. They got an album coming out. They're called The Paragon Project. Look for their album. It's called The Paragon Project Volume 4, Adolescent. It's coming soon. If you want more information, go on their IG, theparagonproject.org. But that's the group that I'm working with right now, and they're amazing, super talented. They're like a mini version of The Roots. If you like the Roots music, you'll love the Paragon Project. Check them out.
Yo, definitely.
We also got some guest features on this album. Some crazy celebrity. Yeah, so make sure you tune in for when it drops.
Yeah, I'm telling y'all, if you're listening, he's not just saying that because he works with these young people. I've listened to their albums. They're great. Like I put it on walking to work one day and I was just like, whoa, like it was at a time where I needed some new music and I didn't know where to turn. And it popped up, and I was like, yo, I like this. Like the content, the production, everything was there, and it was like, you telling me people younger than me that is what I'm listening to? I was blown away, and then I had the pleasure of meeting some of them, and it was an awesome experience for me. So it was a great group of kids, definitely, or not kids, great group of young people. Go out there and support them. They're really working on some special projects. Let me know when the album drops. I'll be sure to share it here on the channel. And so, definitely do that. You gotta get up out of here, but this isn't gonna be the last time we have you on the podcast. Definitely gonna
Okay.
figure out what else we can do going forward. But again, thank you for being here. And yeah, always be on the lookout to come back.
My pleasure, man. I look forward to it.
All right, y'all. We're out of here. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode. Got some special things on the way, so be on the lookout. Definitely be checking social media. And if you don't follow us at the No Stopping Kev Show on Instagram and Facebook, and also subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. That could be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Stitcher, and also YouTube. Get at us. Love you. We're out.